This year is really flying by. We're already at the halfway point of June. NFL training camp does commence at the end of July, so it's a perfect opportunity for us to look ahead to the regular season and break down some Eagles 2023 breakout candidates. I have 5 players to talk about on the show today, but before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the show. We're closing in on a really special milestone for all YouTubers out there. And think about how many YouTube channels there are out there. So many competitors for us. For us to be the largest independently run Eagles channel, it's awesome. To be one of the most successful, it is a blessing for me. I am so grateful. And when we get to 50,000 subs, that is a milestone that we will celebrate. If you're looking for year-round Eagles coverage, we have you covered right here on Eagles Now. I'm Chase Sr., and this is what we do here on the channel. Year-round Birds coverage, news, rumors, and analysis. All of our content, I take pride in it being insightful, informative, entertaining. I want you to learn, but I also want you to have fun as well. Live shows like this, watch parties as well, and breaking news alerts. When breaking news happens, we go deeper into the subject matter than anybody else. So I first want to take a look at my breakout candidates from last year. This is when I took over the channel, and I was in the infancy of me hosting Eagles shows on the daily. Now, I grew up in Westchester. I've been a fan of this football team since I was 4 years old. So again, to be able to do this is something that I don't take for granted. I wake up every day and feel absolutely blessed. And I had a very high hit right here on my 2022 breakout candidates. Jalen Hurts, runner-up in MVP voting. Miles Sanders was top 5 in rushing yards, set a career high for touchdowns scored and rushing yards. He was a breakout candidate. Dallas Goedert had a breakout campaign. Imagine what he could have done if he didn't miss a few games because of injury, but he once again was one of the best all-around tight ends in the sport. Unfortunately, Derek Barnett tore his ACL week 1, and then Marcus Epps had a breakout campaign as well. That's why he landed that huge deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. So 4 out of 5 here on my 2022 breakout candidates. Let's see if we can run it back, but go 5 for 5 here. As for those 5 players, we'll get to them all on today's show. Let's begin, though, with player number 1. Jordan Davis, my first breakout candidate for Philadelphia here in 2023, and why I think Jordan Davis can pop. Javon Hargrave departs Philadelphia for San Francisco in free agency, and Jordan Davis is going to get a lot of opportunities to see the field a lot. He's going to get a lot of snaps, and because of that, the production, I think, is going to increase dramatically. He needed to come into this offseason in a little bit better shape. Now, he's still a mountain of a man, 6'6", 340 pounds, but is in better shape this year. He needs that stamina to be on the uptick to be a legit 3-down player. And for Davis, has all of the ability in the world to take over games, and I think he's going to be able to do that this year. He's playing on a loaded front, which will certainly help him a great deal. And don't let the lack of numbers fool you for Jordan Davis with what he did as a rookie. Jordan Davis, in that rookie campaign after being selected in the first round by Philadelphia, was so impactful on tape. He drew so many double teams, allowing one-on-one opportunities for other players along that defensive line. Him being on the field did lead to and help the Eagles accumulate 70 sacks as a football team during the regular season. That was 15 more than any other team in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs were number 2. And if Davis can become a legit 3-down player, and if his stamina is able to increase a little bit, I don't see why he can have a breakout campaign here in year 2. He played 13 games last year with 5 starts, only tallied 18 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 pass breakup. But again, for Jordan Davis, if he's drawing double teams all the time, and that then leads to a successful play, his impact is not showing up directly on the stat sheet, but it's being felt for the defense's success. So with that, this is today's poll question. Let me know. Drop me a name down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Who is your top Eagles breakout candidate for this upcoming season? Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis's Georgia teammate, is my second breakout candidate. What's the theme here with 2 of these players to begin? Jordan Davis going to slide in for Javon Hargrave, and then Nakobe Dean is going to start in also as a starter, at least presumably as a starting backer on this team. In line to start alongside Nicholas Morrow, I will say that the Eagles are very thin with off-ball linebackers right now. Nakobe Dean in OTAs didn't have a crazy offseason in which he was turning a bunch of heads, but does he have more pop to his game with more game reps? Is this a player who just frankly plays better in between the lines when the live bullets are flying? I think so, because he's such a smart and instinctual player who knows the game of football. And it's really telling for me that the Eagles gave him that green dot because Sean Desai is going to be relaying him the plays to relay to the entire defense. And Dean checked out pretty nicely in a limited workload, albeit last year as a rookie. 20 coverage snaps, 17 run defense snaps, 4 solo tackles, 4 stops. Overall Pro Football Focus grade of 78.7. League average is 70. Run defense grade of 69.1. A coverage grade of 75.8. What I like here about Nakobe Dean, he is a sure-handed tackler. 0 missed tackles. And I think the numbers that he put up in 2021 at Georgia are going to be the numbers that he can put up here with Philadelphia in his sophomore season. 72 tackles en route to that national championship with the Bulldogs, 10.5 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 6 pass breakups. I hope that Sean Desai uses him in a way that taps into his strengths. Playing around the line, off-ball coverage linebacker, send him home on some blitz packages, let him be aggressive, playing with his hair on fire, and let him be that instinctual player that he is. Now, I will say, if Nakobe Dean flops, if he struggles a little bit, if that lack of size is a little bit of an issue, look out for Christian Ellis. Had a couple of interceptions throughout Eagles OTAs and was one of the biggest winners during the offseason program. Feel free to interact with me on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. I'm flying back to Philly next week. I'll be there from Sunday to Wednesday, kind of in the Philly, Westchester, Lancaster area. I'm going to see my cousins from Australia, actually. We're going to the Phillies game on Tuesday. So if you're going to be there, slide in my DMs and we can meet up for a pregame tailgate, crash and brews or something. And we also have a great deal to tell you about here on the show as well. This Chat Sports Eagles shirt. It is now on sale for just $14. What, Chase? Are you kidding me? I'm not kidding you. $14. Chatsports.com/EaglesT, as Mitchell Renz would say. I'm not shitting you. DeAndre Swift, Eagles breakout candidate number 3. You might say, well, what do you mean here? Because DeAndre Swift has put together a pretty solid career, right? I think that he can legit blow up, and DeAndre Swift can become one of the best running backs in the game this upcoming season. Entering a contract year, so the pressure is on him to try to set himself up for a nice payday. DeAndre Swift, as a former second-round pick, has always had ability. He's just been nicked up a little bit throughout his career. Coming to Philadelphia, this is a running back-friendly offensive system and scheme, and he's running behind the best offensive line in football. Paving the way for him in front of him, it's going to be Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelce, Cam Jurgens, and Lane Johnson, who has not given up a sack for a few years now. And what I mean by Swift being a breakout candidate, I'm talking 1,000 yards rushing for the first time in his career. I think he has the ability to be a 1,100 to 1,500 yard running back this upcoming season. And if he more than doubles his numbers, that to me is a breakout campaign. When I talk about the talent, you can see it here. 4.5 yards per carry, more than 4 in 2021, and then 5.5 in 2022. DeAndre Swift led all running backs in yards per touch last year, and he's really good at catching the football and making plays happen with his legs after he receives the football. Look out for DeAndre Swift. I think he's in store for a splashy 2023. What say you? Is it going to be Swift? Is it going to be Rashad Penny? Is it going to be Kenneth Gainwell or Boston Scott, the true wild card? Who will lead the Birds in rushing? You let me know down in the comment section. Another breakout candidate that I want to get to, Trace, you don't have to do that. Let's go Cam Jurgens, another breakout candidate for me here. I think Cam Jurgens is also going to have a very big season just because he's going to have ample opportunities, right, to see the field this year. He is slotted to start in place of Isaac Seumalo. He is undersized, but Cam Jurgens is plenty athletic and talented to play guard. What I mean by that is in this system, with Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach. Last year, I saw he had this innate ability to snap the football when he was the backup center in the preseason, get out on some of those pull blocks, get to that first, second, and third level to block downfield to open up some running lanes for either a quick screen pass, a swing pass, or a run, whether that be for the quarterback or the running back. And a reason why I think Jurgens can play good football here this upcoming season. Jeff Stoutland, like I said, he's the best offensive line coach in the NFL. He could develop myself and Trizzy to play offensive lineman. Now, I'm only 6 foot, about 180 pounds, but if I added some weight, I guarantee Jeff Stoutland could be like, yo, you could play offensive line. And I'll be like, Jeff, I trust you to make me a good offensive lineman. Trizzy, he's got some good size to him as well. We could play a little guard. That's how good Jeff Stoutland is. But in all seriousness, do the Eagles have the best offensive line in the National Football League? Pro Football Focus still ranked it at number 1. Why for yes or an N for no? So we have Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, DeAndre Swift, and Cam Jurgens checking in that 5th and final spot. Reed Blankenship. As of right now, without training camp obviously underway, that gets started at the end of July, I think the starting safety tandem is going to be Terrell Edmunds. And I think that Terrell Edmunds, Greedy Williams, they are candidates to be breakouts as well. Reed Blankenship, though, I think this is pretty obvious with how he played last year. I thought he filled in very nicely when C.J. Gardner-Johnson went down with that nasty laceration in his core. He's versatile. He could play in multiple spots. He plays with his hair on fire. He is never scared to light up the opponent. I love his physicality, and I love his fearlessness. He was asked recently what the identity of this Eagles defense is going to be. He's like, we just want to hit people. Reed Blankenship can play. And I think that Reed Blankenship, a former UDFA who cracked the 53-man roster, who had a great training camp in 2022, is going to have an even better training camp here in 2023. And he's obviously earned the trust of this coaching staff. Otherwise, he wouldn't be slotted in to play safety in year 2 as a former UDFA. Blankenship's Pro Football Focus numbers, they might surprise you. League average is 70. He was above league average with his overall Pro Football Focus grade at 75.8. A run defense grade of 76.5, so he can play in the box. A pass rush grade of 69.4. He can make plays behind the line of scrimmage. And a coverage grade very solid of 71.5. Also of note, some of these numbers, I know it's a smaller sample size, lesser snaps, but better than C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Terrell Edmunds' Pro Football Focus numbers, better than C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So my 5 breakout candidates for Philadelphia here this upcoming season: Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, DeAndre Swift, Cam Jurgens, and Reed Blankenship. Let me know who you think is going to break out. And if you enjoy our program here, you enjoy the channel and the content that we cook up for you, give me a real one down below. It's a real one. Roll call.